At Thanksgiving, my family discovered I was secretly worth millions. Within 60 seconds, they stopped treating me like a daughter and started treating me like an ATM. The craziest part wasn't that I'd built a successful business. It was that they were angry I hadn't handed my success to my younger sister. But to understand why that dinner exploded the way it did, you need to understand what my family was like growing up. Because this story didn't start with money. It started with a little girl who learned that being invisible hurt less than being disappointed. I was 8 when my younger sister was born. Before that, life felt normal. Not perfect, but normal. Then everything changed. She arrived early and spent time in the hospital, and from that moment forward, the entire family revolved around her. Every conversation, every holiday, every decision somehow became about Rachel. At first, I understood. She was a baby, she needed attention, but as months became years, I realized something. The attention never stopped. If I got sick, I was sent to stay with relatives so I wouldn't be a problem. If Rachel sneezed, the whole house treated it like a medical emergency. As we got older, the gap only widened. I brought home straight A's. Nobody cared. I won competitions at school. Nobody noticed. I spent months learning piano and performed in a talent show. Not a single family member showed up. A few weeks later, everyone packed into an auditorium to watch my sister stumble through a short recital. That's when something finally clicked. I wasn't competing for attention. I'd already lost. Once I accepted that, everything changed. Instead of chasing approval, I started building my future, quietly. While my sister became an expert at getting attention, I became an expert at getting results. I joined academic clubs, debate teams, student leadership programs, and worked part-time whenever I could. The funny thing about being ignored is that nobody notices how much progress you're making. While everyone watched Rachel, I was developing skills that would eventually change my life. By my junior year of high school, I achieved something almost nobody at my school had accomplished. I ran home excited to share the news. My parents barely looked up because Rachel had homework due the next day. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling and made a promise to myself. One day I would build a life so successful that nobody could overlook it. A year later, I got accepted into one of the top universities in the country, with enough financial aid to leave home without asking anyone for help. My parents weren't excited. Their first concern wasn't my future. It was how Rachel would feel if I moved away. That told me everything I needed to know, so I left. College wasn't easy. I worked constantly, studied constantly, and lived on almost nothing. But every day felt lighter than living in that house. For the first time, my success depended on me and nobody else. After graduation, I landed an entry-level job at a company that evaluated collectibles and historical items. The pay wasn't impressive, and the work wasn't glamorous, but I loved it. One day, while reviewing a collection everyone else had dismissed, I noticed a small item that looked completely ordinary. Something about it felt off. I spent days researching it, checking records, comparing details, and following every lead I could find. Eventually, I discovered it wasn't ordinary at all. It was worth tens of thousands of dollars. That discovery changed everything. Suddenly, people trusted my judgment. I got bigger projects, larger responsibilities, and opportunities I never imagined. One success led to another. Before long, I wasn't just working in the industry, I was becoming known in it. Few years later, I took the biggest risk of my life. I emptied my savings, took on debt, and rented a tiny office. Most people thought I was crazy. Maybe they were right. If it failed, I'd lose everything. For months, I barely slept. Every bill felt terrifying. Every client mattered. Every mistake felt like it could destroy me. Slowly, things started working. One client became 3. 3 became 10. Referrals turned into larger contracts. Collectors called. Attorneys called. Investors called. Before I fully realized what was happening, my tiny company wasn't tiny anymore. It was growing faster than I'd ever imagined. Meanwhile, my family still thought I worked some ordinary job. Every holiday, I'd sit at the dinner table listening to people give me career advice, while having absolutely no idea what I actually did. They joked about my work. They dismissed my accomplishments. They never asked questions. Eventually, I stopped volunteering answers. But there was something they never knew. Even after everything, I was helping them. When bills got difficult, I quietly stepped in. When unexpected expenses appeared, I found ways to help, month after month, year after year. They never realized how much support was coming from me. Then Thanksgiving arrived. My mother wasn't feeling well that year, so I offered to host dinner. I hired professionals, organized everything, and made sure the day would be perfect. The family arrived. The food was incredible. Everyone seemed happy. For a few hours, it actually felt peaceful. Then Rachel wandered into my office. A few minutes later, she came back carrying my laptop. At first, I assumed she was looking for attention like always. Then I saw the screen. She had opened financial reports, business contracts, investment statements, and company records. Information she wasn't supposed to see. She marched into the dining room holding the laptop like she'd uncovered some massive secret. She wanted a dramatic moment. She got one. Just not the one she expected. Rachel turned the screen around for everyone to see. The room instantly went silent. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Displayed on that screen was the truth I'd kept hidden for years. My company wasn't just doing well. The contracts were enormous. The revenue was enormous. The account balances were numbers my family couldn't even process. Rachel stared at the screen, then at me, then back at the screen. Finally, she whispered, "You're rich." The room exploded. Questions came from every direction. Nobody asked how I built the company. Nobody asked what sacrifices it took. Nobody asked how many sleepless nights or stressful years were behind those numbers. They all wanted to know the same thing. How much money did I have? Then came the part that hurt the most. My mother stood up and demanded to know why I hadn't given more of it to the family. More. Not some. More. Apparently, all the years of secret financial help didn't count. The moment they realized I was successful, they stopped seeing a daughter. They saw an opportunity. That's when I finally told them everything. The forgotten birthdays, the ignored achievements, the empty seats at performances, the years of favoritism. The room fell silent. I picked up my laptop, grabbed my things, and headed for the door. Behind me, people were still arguing, still making demands, still acting entitled to a life they never helped build. That was the last holiday I ever spent with them. Walking away hurt, but staying would have hurt more. Because eventually I learned something important. The people who ignore your struggles are rarely entitled to your success. And sometimes the family you leave behind is simply the price of becoming the person you were always meant to be.